Welcome to the Town Board meeting, Thursday, April 18th. Please rise and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Emergency exits are to my right, behind the town attorney, and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Councilwoman Sinoji?
Here.
Councilman Morris?
Here.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Here.
Councilman Doyle?
Here.
And Supervisor Thornton?
Here. Public comment, there's no one here. Supervisors report. Wassaic Trail of the Train update. Several companies have requested bid information. Bids are due to the town clerk's office by April 24th. Town of Amenia Highway Garage land update. Resolution for Highway Garage and Engineer RFP approval is on the April 18th, 2019 agenda. Amenia Town Hall upgrades. Final CDBG grant ADA. Amenia Town Hall updates. Reimbursement request for $31,615 sent to Dutchess County Planning today. Dormitory Authority window updates. Grant reimbursement in progress. Noise law update under review by the town board will be on the agenda in May. Dutchess County Procurement Shared Services. After resolution approvals, procurement specialists with grant writer assistance can develop highway garage and sidewalk RFPs for engineering services for Dutchess County Empire BidNet. Regional ambulance grant. Town of Amenia, Town of Northeast, Village of Millerton, Town of Dover with Dutchess County Department of Emergency Response finalized the RFP for regional ambulance services. On April 16th, the procurement specialist posted it on Dutchess County Empire BidNet, in addition to sending it to Northern Dutchess Paramedics, Mobile Life, and MSTAR. A copy of the RFP can be viewed on the Town of Northeast website, as the Town of Northeast will be receiving responses to the RFP. While sanitation proposals and counter-proposals are being reviewed, grant update, the grant writer is getting information for an updated Main Street grant application for the consolidated funding application due in July. The building report. I don't think we have one. A grant report from the grant writer. Wassaic Trail of the Train, original grant, we were awarded $480,000. The local match is $120,000. We also have a New York State DOT grant of $250,000. We also, in addition, we have a Dutchess County grant for $100,000. And we also, for the Wassaic Trail to the Train, and another grant for the Wassaic Trail to the Train is the New York State Dormitory Authority, $100,000. Amenia Town Hall, $93,000 for ADA improvements and windows. Work completed, preparing final reimbursement. Joint ambulance study. Funding for an analysis of, was a grant from Dutchess County for $190,000. It was funding for an analysis of providing a joint ambulance service between Amenia, Dover, and Northeast. There was a public hearing held on October 24th. On April 16th, a request for proposals is placed on Dutchess County Empire BidNet, sent to Dutchess County Paramedics, Mobile Life, and MSTAR, all Dutchess County ambulance services providers. The kitchen grant, we received $500, and we're researching other additional grant sources. Downtown Amenia sidewalks, we received a $71,000 grant from the Community Development Block Grant. Grant funds awarded for sidewalk improvements in the area of downtown in front of the Amenia Post Office and Doobie Building. Hazard mitigation grant, $80,000 with a $20,000 match. We're seeking funds for a drainage improvement project on Deep Hollow Road. The grant is submitted and under review. Provided additional project details to state officials awaiting grant approval. Town Hall windows, we had a $50,000 grant from the Dormitory Authority. He's preparing reimbursement to Dormitory Authority. Other grant activities, preparing letter of intent to Tribute Gardens for Fountain Square improvements. preparing for New York State Consolidated Funding Application grant opportunities for the town, including New York Main Street Grant, and prepared Northeast Dutchess Fund grant for dance program. Town clerk report.
Good evening. In regards to tax collection to date, for the year of 2019, we've collected $4,761,579.50. Penalty that's been collected is $3,408.06. Today, I mailed out our second notices. We're sending out 149 second notices. I present to the board the vouchers that were reviewed by a majority of the members earlier this week. General Fund A, $75,055.75. Highway Fund, $19,949.53. Amenia Lighting, $1,477.98. Wasake Lighting, $531.59. Amenia Water, $6,596.08, for a total of this month's bills, including the prepaids, $103,610.93.
I make a motion that we approve the payment of the vouchers as stated.
Second.
Councilwoman Smoji?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Thank you. Also this evening, I bring to the attention of the board that I received an email from Lynn from Dashing Star Farm. She's our contact for the Amenia Farmers Market. This Saturday is going to be their last indoor market, and they're going to be resuming the operation of outdoors, which is regularly May through October, every Friday in the lower parking lot. And she's seeking arrangements for some type of signage along the back and side edges in order for the vendors to have adequate room for their vehicles and their tents. As we know that the lower parking lot has been utilized for other events, and at this time we're looking just to secure their parking, and they usually set up around 2 p.m. on Fridays, and they pack up after 7 p.m. So I don't know if that's available to put some signage up, or how we want to be able to insist them so that way they can ensure that they have the appropriate space. They do not, and she does go on, she does not cancel if there's rain. They only make the decision at the very day if there's an event of high winds or storms. So they usually do not cancel.
So I'm trying to understand what it is they need. So when they arrive to set up, let's say at 1 o'clock, then they need some way of making sure cars are existing in those spaces?
So currently, there's existing cars anywhere between 18 and 25 through beginning at 7:30 in the morning. I've been taking regular pictures just to kind of get an idea of the flow and the use of our parking lot now. So on Fridays, and at time, businesses are still utilizing our the public parking space, and that has been we've been in an ongoing relationship with them. But she's now looking for signage along the back and the edges in order the vendors will have adequate room for their vehicles. Kind of like
I see.
Securing it so there's no parking. And the way it used to be set up when it was the school, you pull in on what would be our far end from the room, and so that way it's always keeping the constant flow. They set up along the hill, the back, and then depending on how many vendors, in their first year they used all 3 sides, but then last year it was just
The back
the
side?
2 sides.
Okay.
But she's looking for signage so that way they can mark it off and hold it. I mean, there's been times when school had an event and people had their cars there. So I mean, she's just trying to get a head start with advertising this is the last indoor market, so everybody come to the market, and then wanted to touch base with us on how we want to be able to make sure they're ready to
I'll
rock
take
and
care
roll.
of that.
All right, thank you. So I will let her know that you will take care. So are we going to put some signage up for them, or?
I'm not sure how I'm going to do it right now.
Okay, I'll just let her know.
I just want to have a discussion with
what,
who's
okay.
been using the cars, so we
No.
have that space
Great.
reserved for them on Fridays.
Thank you. I was asked just to remind everybody that this Sunday is the Easter egg, or Saturday is the Easter egg hunt at the Wasaik Firehouse, rain or shine. Starts at noon, so you want to be there on time, 5 minutes early. It's a good idea. We all know how exciting that is. And the other thing that I did speak to a woman who wanted me to take the time out, if I wouldn't mind sharing with everybody, that the census is starting for those that are looking for a summer job. This is a great job. It's $18 an hour and they pay mileage, and working for the census is very important. This is how we get our federal funds, when we are able to indicate how many individuals reside in our area, and they would like to not only encourage those that are looking for a job or looking for a second job to apply, but also ensure that everybody participates in completing the census when they do receive the census forms. I did share with her the supervisor's business card, and that way I know it's a big push in trying to ensure that everyone participates, and it's how we get our federal money. So they'll be contacting you with more information on just completing the census for 2020 in general.
When do they start with their?
It's actually started, so if you were to apply now, right now
They're ongoing,
they
huh?
are verifying addresses. So there's going to be individuals that'll be going around looking to verify that the addresses that they last had, because there are new developments, so there could be changes of homes, or there could be homes that are no longer in existence. So right now what they're doing is they're verifying addresses.
Okay.
So the job is there now.
Okay, I just was curious.
Yeah, we've been sending information to them for the last 6 months,
Yeah.
to the census.
There was a big
bureaus.
part of it that was supposed to be completed by November of this past year, but unfortunately, due to the shortage of staffing, they are a little bit behind.
Okay.
So she's not only been emailing me, I've posted her information, and then she did a follow-up with a site visit.
Wow.
So I said I'd bring it to the attention, and it's a great job opportunity.
Yeah.
And that'll conclude the town clerk's report, with the exception of Happy Easter this weekend.
Are there any other committee reports?
I have the Recreation Committee meeting I went to on Thursday, April 11th. Excuse me, I apologize for that. We discussed the community events. The egg hunt was a great success. We had two Recreation Commission members join, Scott Russo and Chris Milano. And the Klinger family, 16 volunteers, Tally Ho Estates seniors, and South Amenia Presbyterian Friendship Center also participated with us. We discussed that for this event, we need to have 2 rec members plus 6 to 8 teens on the day of the event to help hide the eggs, set up things, and clean up and do things like that. That's the day we need all the hands. Everything else, it's already scattered out, but that day we need the hands. Golden Age Singers will be coming on Thursday, May 9th at 2 p.m. at the Amenia Town Hall. It's a free concert. It's open to everyone and anyone who wants to come. I have some seniors calling me already, wanting to know about it and stuff. So you don't have to be a senior. You can be anyone. Free senior picnics this year coming up. The Office of the Aging will be Friday, May 31st. It's really early, gang. Boys Park in Wingdale. You have to call yourself, the Office of the Aging, and reserve your seat. Town of Amenia picnic is on Saturday, July 28th at the Wasaik Fire Company. The flyers will be coming out for that. So both of these picnics are free to residents in Amenia.
July 27th or 28th? 27th is a Saturday.
Why do we keep writing the 28th? What does that mean to me?
28th is a Sunday. We usually have it on a Saturday.
Yes, we
right?
do.
Okay, that would be the July
It is
27th.
It's 27th. I know, even when people ask me, I still keep saying 20.
That's okay.
Thank you.
We got plenty of time to
Thank you.
make sure everybody has the right date.
It's the 27th. I'm sure there must be someplace else I'm going on the 28th that I just don't remember. But the date's there in my head. That's the way it is with me sometimes. Fishing Derby will be on May 18th. There will be a conflict right now with the photos they're taking for the baseball people teams and stuff. So they're under discussion with that to figure out how that's going to be. Strawberry Festival is on June 8th at Four Brothers. Tables are $20. It's put together by the Harlem Valley
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. That's them. Baseball. Oh, I hope you're all writing this stuff all down, folks, because, it's a lot of things. Opening day is May 4th. The parade is at 8 a.m. It leaves from the Amenia Fire Department and it goes all the way up to Beekman Park. The John Lamb Tournament is on June 15th. Again, a parade at 8 a.m. Team Photos is on May 18th, and they're going to be taken in the town hall. And it'll be scheduled. Your head coach is going to tell everybody what's going on. These are the discussions. A sports app for all coaches and parents who can see the information for the teams and stuff. I was totally impressed with this. He had it totally organized. Everything is on there. You're a Babe Ruther or you're a T-ball or whatever it is. Your team is there, your name is there, your parents' name, your phone number, every single thing, and all the games are all scheduled on it already. I'm really very impressed with you, Chris. That's Chris Milano. Milano. That's it, changed his name too. But yeah, I'm really, and he and his wife, they put that together on their magic phones, They discussed the pitching clinic. Basketball they're revisiting it because they're thinking about starting basketball again, so they're revisiting it, but they haven't made any decisions. None of this stuff, everything it's all discussion, no decisions been made or anything. Volleyball at Beekman Park, that was talked about. Booster Club for refreshment stand for the baseball people. They're looking at seeing how they can work it out within the teams and stuff so that they can be a self-contained environment. CPR for all coaches. Uniforms, caps are all in the town colors. They're a maroon and gold. And I think that they were just discussing, like sometimes they turn the uniforms inside out and it's a different color when they play something else. Basketball court by the town hall. The equipment is ordered and is in the storeroom. Highway department to drill holes for the posts. That's also, they're working on that. There's no date for that. That's what they discussed. Bus trip to Cooperstown. Information was given. I gave them the information. There are 60 children on the teams to go, so they're looking into maybe making a bus trip to Cooperstown with the baseball people, kids and stuff. That's a big project. I'm not in it. Not in it. I love the little darlings, but I'm not in it. It's all those guys doing it. And I think if they did it, they probably would do very well because they really seem to be very organized. The 3 new members, I'm not saying the other people on the board aren't good, but the 3 new members, the 3 gentlemen, they're very active, very interested, and they really want this Recreation Commission to be successful. So I'm really happy about that. Senior trips update. There's a date change for Lake George. It's now Wednesday, August 21st, and Silver Birches is now Wednesday, October 9th. So when you get the flyers, you can call me and I'll explain what happened there. The next meeting is Thursday, May 9th at 7 p.m. And so I just told you what they did and what they didn't. And that's all I have.
Are there any other committee reports?
I would just like to add to that we were asked to go ahead and I'll make a motion that we go ahead and advertise for a concession operator for Beekman Park. That's been something that they would like to have. There is somebody available to sell some food while kids are down there at their games, and as often as possible.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I just wanted to add one other thing is that, so the reason why we were talking about volleyball at Beekman Park is just because the school wraps up its year, in end of June, I guess, when the kids go out, there's no more volleyball because we don't have access to the gym anymore. So we were looking for an alternative site that we could play during the summer. So that is a goal, and we'd just like to have some thought and discussion about that. We have until June, but it would be nice to go ahead and have a plan, or at least think about where it could go eventually. That's all oh, and there's a softball clinic that's going to be available for the girls' team at Weebatuck, but not really directly under the auspices.
No, it's not really, yeah, I think she's charging, it's a fee.
It's like $5 a
$5 a
session.
day, like that. I guess she's going to like advertise it through us, I think, also. It's going to be on our website or something like that, but I don't know how we would say it. But she's up at the school there. I guess she's some sort of sports director or something.
She works for Weebatuck.
Works for Weebatuck
Yeah,
School,
she's
and
one of
that's
the coaches or
coaches,
something.
teams and stuff like that, so she's going to be doing that.
That's all I recall.
Resolution number
27,
27.
yes.
Authorizing procurement specialist services to prepare requests for proposals for engineering services in connection with the construction of a new highway garage. Whereas by resolution number 17 of 2018, adopted by the town board on April 5th, 2018, the town of Amenia authorized the execution of an intermunicipal agreement with Dutchess County for procurement specialist services to assist in the writing and preparation of requests for bids and proposals, the posting of prepared requests and bids for proposals in newspapers and on the internet, and assist in the evaluation of vendors' bids and proposals to assure they meet the specifications. Whereas the town of Amenia is in need of engineering services for the construction of a new highway garage. Whereas the town board wishes to authorize procurement specialist services in accordance with the intermunicipal agreement with Dutchess County to prepare specifications for requests for proposals for engineering services in connection with the construction of a new highway garage. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorize the procurement specialist services in accordance with the intermunicipal agreement with Dutchess County to prepare specifications for requests for proposals for engineering services in connection with the construction of a new highway garage. Be it further resolved that town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate this resolution. Is there a motion?
I make that motion.
Second.
Okay. I didn't know if I had to read the whole title.
Councilwoman Samoji.
Yes.
Councilman Morris.
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle.
Yes.
And Supervisor Cordy.
Yes. Resolution number 28. Authorizing procurement specialist services to prepare requests for proposals for engineering services in connection with downtown ADA sidewalk improvements to be funded through Community Development Block Grant. Whereas by resolution number 17 of 2018, adopted by Town Board on April 5th, 2018, the town of Amenia authorized the execution of intermunicipal agreement with Dutchess County for procurement special services to assist in the writing and preparation of requests for bids and proposals, the posting of prepared requests for bids and proposals in newspapers and on the internet, and assist in the evaluation of vendors' bids and proposals to assure they meet the specifications. Whereas the town of Amenia is in need of engineering services for the construction of sidewalk improvements in compliance with the Americans with Disability Act. Whereas said improvements will consist of the replacement of 120 linear feet of deteriorated sidewalks along Route 343, east of the intersection of Route 22, 44, 343 near the post office and other downtown businesses. Whereas the town of Amenia applied for and received funding for this project through the Community Development Block Grant. Whereas the town board wishes to authorize procurement specialist services in accordance with the intermunicipal agreement with Dutchess County to prepare specifications for requests for proposals for engineering services in connection with the downtown ADA sidewalk improvements to be funded through the CDBG. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes Procurement Specialist Services in accordance with the intermunicipal agreement with Dutchess County to prepare specifications for requests for proposals for engineering services in connection with the construction of ADA-compliant sidewalk improvements, which will include the replacement of 120 linear feet of deteriorated sidewalks along Route 343 east of the intersection of Route 22, 44, and 343 near the post office and other downtown businesses, which will be funded through the CDBG, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate this resolution. Is there a motion?
I make the motion that we accept this resolution.
Second?
Councilwoman Smoji?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prody.
Yes.
A quick question about sidewalks. When we did the sidewalks to the west of 22,
On 44?
right, where
Right.
we ran into that culvert issue, did the county ever take care of that broken culvert?
No, that's a DOT,
Sorry, DOT.
and they haven't taken care of it.
They will
today.
take care of it when they do a major renovation of that thing, and until
they do
that's
that.
done, yeah, it didn't,
But-
we couldn't fund it because it was too expensive.
Well, we funded part
Part of it.
Part
up
of it.
until we got
Yeah,
a new culvert.
188 feet.
Right.
And, because the county told us that we could do that particular sidewalk in phases. So when DOT ever schedules that work, we can apply to have the rest of the sidewalk done down to the ball field.
Okay, but we don't have any remaining funds from that grant.
No.
Okay, that was going to be, that's all.
Did you want to
Okay.
go into what's been happening with the solar? So
Sure.
everyone knows.
So, I've been working with Nina Peak and Leo Blackman. We've had a number of conference calls and edits to the solar law. I've recently finished a pretty heavy overhaul of the bill, or law, which is streamlining it a little bit more, making it, I feel, much more enforceable. So thinking on the back end when you're trying to enforce this law. And just easier to follow. So we have a conference call again tomorrow on that particular draft. Hoping at that point we'll be able to button up the final items that are outstanding and then have a draft for the board to review. And then at that point, then we can introduce the local law, do the public hearing, secret review, so on and so forth.
What is the timing that you're thinking of?
I would say I would hope to have it, the goal is to get it, a draft to the board by the next board meeting. If that's too tight, it would be the following meeting after that. But that the goal is to try to get it by within the next 2 weeks from today.
So we can do the local law as soon as possible. Now, did
We'd
you,
have to complete the process, but yes.
but did you look to see what happens if we complete the local law
Yes,
before?
so there is a resolution before the board now to extend the moratorium for another 90 days. This
Because
would
it
be the
ends
last
on
extension.
April 26th.
Correct. So if the law is completed prior to that, the moratorium would end the moment it's filed with the Secretary of State, because then it's law. So it would revert back to whatever the law is now.
So basically, we just need a little bit more time.
Correct. And we're going to need some time to go through the process, to do the public hearings, depending on how much, what we get, the feedback we have from the public hearing.
Is there any, have you considered any of the potential opportunities to put solar onto our landfill that's just been capped on Route 22, and how this, I guess we'd be exempt from those laws, but
The law, the way it's drafted, is set up to where there's essentially, you would have roof-mounted, ground-mounted,
Right, we're talking
solar
ground,
farm,
yeah.
more commercial-oriented, and then on-farm productions. And it's really geared around the use and well, on the roof, that's simple.
Right.
Ground-mounted would be based on the square footage of how many panels you're going to have, based on the square footage of the principal use. So it would be 50%. That's how I have it set up now. So it would be, if it's greater than 50% of the principal structure that's on the property, then it would become a principal use, not an accessory use. Okay? That makes it easier to enforce versus the way some of the laws are set up. They're set up based on production rates, how much of
actually
electricity being
producing,
created.
which would
Much
change.
harder to follow and enforce that. So
Quantify, yeah.
that was the last change, and it was a fairly significant change. But I do think that it's going to be much, much better on the enforcement side going forward.
Seems hard to believe there isn't a community that's already done all of this research, but, you know, I know they looked at model laws from lots of different towns,
Yep.
but nobody had
None of them are really consistent.
good
They're all different.
fit for us.
Yeah, they've spent a lot of time on
A
that.
lot of time. I mean, we've now, it's been about at least a year that Nina and
Leo?
Leo did all their work.
Yep.
And now it seems like it's taking quite a bit of time to revamp even that. So even though they did a significant amount of research and produced a model recommendation for us.
Correct. So they had gone through their research. They were finishing their research when I came in.
Yeah, a year
And-
ago, right?
and, well, no.
Or not even.
Not even, like January when I came in.
January.
So that's when I had drafted, we got a draft model, more or less, that we had worked out with them. And that's what we had submitted to the board a while ago.
Right.
In mid-January, I guess, sometime.
It looked pretty good,
Um,
yeah.
But again, and that particular model, it was drafted based on usage and how much energy was being created. And as we started to edit through that and looked at it, I raised the issues about enforcement, and it was agreed that the shift, changing the way we're looking at it, would have been better for an enforcement purpose. So that's why that was a pretty significant shift. So.
Okay.
And then you still have to work on wind,
And
which is
wind.
also part of it.
Correct. Now, wind, I
But
think...
that won't
once
take as long.
I don't believe that's going to take nearly as long because the model now will be set in place. We'll use the model of what we have here to work on wind.
Just to ask Vicky's question again, so if the town wanted to do some installation, we would be exempt from that law because we are exempt?
The town is,
No.
I believe, exempt.
But it really isn't great policy for us to say, okay, you guys all need to adhere to these standards, but we have a project that we want to do that's outside of.
Well, there's-
Wouldn't
Again,
be
too,
allowed,
there-
right?
there's-
I mean,
there's
we
a-
wanna
there's
be-
kind
Well,
of an issue here.
that isn't anything.
There is one issue with...
Yeah, but about the landfill, isn't anything, we've had any discussions
No.
or
No,
any
and-
plan, there's no plan in place right now.
I
and
just
here's
wondered
one of
if
the
it would have
main-
excluded that option.
Here's one of the major issues that we've run into. To have a quote-unquote solar farm or a commercial solar farm, by definition, it produces 110% of the average yearly use, okay? That is a significant amount of
Solar
electricity.
panels, yeah.
That goes back into the grid.
Right.
In Amenia, in the town, there is, the infrastructure doesn't exist to accommodate that. So as we sit here today, we've drafted a commercial, a solar farm section to our law, but you wouldn't be able to
Implement
input
it.
one, no, because the
So
infrastructure's not there.
We're just paying for this legal document that is, I mean, why?
Well,
do
it's
we
going to
include this?
regulate any.
No,
roof-
it's gonna
roof
regulate-
mount, ground mounted.
Yeah,
It'll regulate,
everything.
solar on-farm operations. And that's not to say that the infrastructure, someone could come in
I
tomorrow
see. So
and want
I
to
see.
to
So if it's
invest to do it.
producing enough electricity for your own infrastructure, that's
Correct.
one thing. But if you're trying to sell it back to the
Correct, there's only so
general
much.
transmission.
There's
Right.
only so much energy that the current infrastructure that exists here.
Right.
And
So
that
if you look
doesn't
at my
mean that's going to
NYSERDA,
stay the same either.
Correct.
So you need to
It's
be
gonna-
able to plan for
it's gonna-
that, should the day
I see.
come.
So that's why
when-
that's
When the
being-
infrastructure
That's why
changes.
it's in there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
essentially, we have more of a, we'll say, a residential
Right.
self-use infrastructure here.
Okay.
So,
Resolution 30?
28?
29?
What?
What?
We just did 29.
We did 27, 28. This is
No,
going to be
20
29.
29.
29, right?
Got a little excited there.
We'll have a 30.
Extending temporary townwide moratorium prohibiting the installation of freestanding or ground-mounted solar energy systems and wind energy conversion systems for additional 3-month period. Whereas on July 19, 2018, by Resolution Number 39 of 2018, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia adopted Local Law 3 of 2018, imposing a temporary townwide moratorium prohibiting the installation of freestanding or ground-mounted solar energy systems and wind energy conversion systems in the Town of Amenia. Whereas Section 2A of Local Law 3 of 2018 provided for a moratorium term of 180 days from its effective date, subject to review and extension by the Town Board of the Town of Amenia. Whereas Local Law 3 of 2018 became effective on July 30th, 2018 upon filing with the Secretary of State and therefore would have expired on January 26, 2019. Whereas on January 17, 2019, by Resolution Number 10 of 2019, the Town Board extended the temporary townwide moratorium on the installation of freestanding or ground-mounted solar energy systems and wind energy conversion systems until April 26, 2019. Whereas the purpose of the temporary townwide moratorium prohibiting the installation of freestanding or ground-mounted solar energy systems and wind energy conversion systems is to preserve the status quo in the town of Amenia, pending the completion and adoption of the town's new zoning regulations with respect to solar energy systems and wind energy conversion systems. Whereas the new zoning regulations are being drafted and reviewed, and is anticipated the revisions will be adopted by July 26, 2019. Whereas the Town Board has determined an additional extension of the moratorium term is warranted, and it is in the best interest of the residents and property owners of the Town of Amenia to extend the provisions of Local Law 3, 2018 for an additional 90-day term by resolution pursuant to Section 11 thereof, and whereas the Town Board may terminate the moratorium earlier than 90 days, provided that the new zoning laws adopted and appropriate revision to the land use regulations have been made. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board hereby extends the temporary townwide moratorium prohibiting the installation of freestanding or ground-mounted solar energy systems and wind energy conversion systems in the Town of Amenia, established by Local Law 3 of 2018 for additional 90-day term commencing on April 27, 2019, and ending on July 26, 2019, pursuant to Section 11 of the local law. I make that motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Simonucci?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilman Terrace?
No.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes. Damian, do you want to go over the
Oh, yeah.
BAS?
So last year, I spoke with BAS when they gave us the budget proposal for the email server upgrade here at Town Hall. And at that time, I also asked them to provide some estimate for a move to Office 365, which is Microsoft's cloud-hosted version of their email service, along with some other things. I also spoke with a couple of other cloud providers, specifically Google's government services, and we didn't make a decision at that time. Nothing was really critical. BAS was proposing an upgrade to our email server because we are running Microsoft Small Business 2008 with Exchange 2007. It's 2019, as everybody knows. And they're proposing an upgrade of the server software to Microsoft Exchange 2013. The supervisor asked me to do a little research. There's a lot of sales materials online, but I actually found an impartial study. It was funded by Microsoft, but it was done by Forrester Research. And there's a lot of stuff in here that points to the economic cost benefits of moving from a on-premise hosted situation to a cloud-hosted provider. The cost benefits include generally people who move to Office 365 see a 16% reduction in Microsoft licensing costs. Generally, a 17% reduction in third-party licensed software costs, so any other ancillary software you need, like anti-spam software or antivirus software, any of that stuff. You don't need it if you move to a cloud-hosted solution. And then generally a 17% reduction in IT support costs, so that would be the hourly support costs that we are charged whenever we need somebody to perform an upgrade or troubleshoot something. I'll share this report around with the rest of the board, but my recommendation would be, because we don't have a critical situation right now with our current email solution, I would recommend that we ask the county procurement service to prepare an RFP so we can get some pricing to see what moving to Office 365. I did have a question for our council here. Are we able to put out an RFP that specifies a particular vendor, given that we are currently using that vendor's software just in a different implementation? Or does it have to be put out for just sort of any? The reason we're interested in Office 365 is because the staff here is accustomed to using it. There wouldn't be any additional training needed if we did move to a different system. So there's an economic implication for completely changing the system, but just wondering.
So staying with 360 versus any other different program?
Correct.
That would,
Yeah.
would the RFP itself, if you went out, include training services? I'm asking, just whatever you sent out would have some aspect of training to it anyways, right?
Well, sure, but we're basically saying that as far as the town employees go, nothing would really change.
Change for them, it'd be easier in implication for them.
Correct.
I don't necessarily think there's an issue with the program or focusing on that program, so long as it's being administered by different companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
I think it'd be okay then.
All right, so I would make that.
I would have it set up as the preference would be, so what they could do is submit either a proposal for
Alternate.
A, yeah. That's probably how I would do it. So you'd have an alternate.
Is there a cost for the county to do RFPs for us? I can't remember.
$60 an hour.
Okay. And so a typical RFP preparation would
Well, the last one was 60, so.
just $60 for them to put it together. Okay.
We could, I mean, there's a ton of like sample RFPs out online. If we wanted to do it ourselves, we could. But given that the cost with the county shared service is so low, I figured we'd have an expert do it as opposed to pulling a form.
According to that agreement as well, they not only do the specifications, but they'd help with the evaluation. They're pretty involved with, so it's not just preparation.
And just one simple benefit is like if the power goes out here at Town Hall, all of our email goes down. And if, I mean, it is backed up remotely, so we're not at risk of losing data, but, in the event of an emergency or something, if we can't communicate over that, it's sort of it's a
But
big
will
deal.
we have a generator? I mean,
Soon.
theoretically. Okay.
Well, the transfer switch is here.
The
The generator is on its way.
Damien, how come BAS didn't provide you with a quote for 365?
They did provide me with an estimate. They didn't provide me with a written quote. And we should absolutely invite them to respond to any bid with that estimate. But based on the estimate they gave, it's the sort of thing where it's like just the migration from our old system to the new system is going to cost a little more than if we just kept going this route. But long term, going back to the findings.
Well, the benefits has been, and you and I have discussed this over the last handful of years about the moving forward, and that was the issue that happened last week was I was trying to take care of some court matters, and they were signing into the computer, and that's how it was. The court was trying to give me Office 365, but our server was not allowing it. So I have BAS on the phone, I have New York State ITS on the phone, and they were going back and forth, and they were trying to see between firewalls, and they thought there was some kind of connection error, and then when they realized that our server just wouldn't migrate over and it wouldn't accept it, that's when Ron's like, no, you have to move, you have to upgrade.
Yeah.
And so that's when it all came about, but I just wasn't,
Well, he was saying upgrade to Microsoft Exchange 2013.
13, not
Yeah,
the
he wasn't saying to
365.
365.
Because that
So
would have been
the
the minimum.
RFP is going to be for,
I would recommend we word it as, we're looking for we'll talk to the county. I'm happy to talk to the county, but
oh, good, I'll give you Sarah's
that's fine. We're looking to migrate.
contact information. And you
From-
can talk IT speak to her.
That's fine. It would be that we're looking to migrate from Exchange 2007 on-premise installation to a cloud-hosted email and Office suite with a preference for Office 365. And if proposers, I guess, propose something other than Office 365, they should include training as part of their bid as well.
Okay.
I'll share this around. And I'm happy to talk to Rebecca.
It's Sarah.
Sarah.
Sarah, I'll give you the information.
Excellent.
Okay, good.
Well, thank you guys for moving forward on that.
Haven't done
Oh,
anything
yeah.
yet, other
We
than.
are.
Just to start
Getting
that
it.
conversation that was long.
Now, under other matters, the court had to replace a computer. And so in order, which was purchased by, who was?
The state court.
Through the state court. But the town is responsible for disposing of it and cleaning the hard drive. So we actually are getting to resolution number 30.
All right. I get to read it.
Sure.
Resolution number 30 of 2019, authorizing disposal of surplus equipment. Whereas the Town of Amenia Justice Court was previously provided a Dell Optiplex 7010 computer bearing serial number 433-635-68881 from the Office of Court Administration for use by the Town of Amenia Justice Court staff, and whereas the Dell Optiplex 7010 computer bearing serial number 433-635-68881 is now old, obsolete, and no longer needed. And whereas computing devices such as computers and laptops contain stored data and licensed software that are at risk of unauthorized use and should be disposed of in an environmentally and fiscally responsible manner that ensures the safeguarding of the sensitive data and licensed software. And whereas Business Automation Services Incorporated, BAS, is an IT support specialist with the necessary qualifications to dispose of computing devices such as computers and laptops properly so as to safeguard the sensitive data and licensed software from authorized use. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby declares the aforementioned computer to be surplus equipment and authorizes the disposal of said laptop computer to Business Automation Services for proper disposal so as to safeguard the sensitive data and licensed software from unauthorized use. Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, no public comment, town board comments. I believe you had cleanup day scheduled for Saturday, but however, we're under a flood watch.
Oh,
From,
it's going to be a rain out?
it's, I didn't think you might not have had a chance to look
I
at your
saw
email.
your email that said it looks like it's going to be, we're under a flood watch, so.
We're under flood watch from late
Tonight.
Friday night into
Friday.
Saturday
It's a lot of
afternoon.
rain.
And a lot of rain is expected.
Vicki,
So-
my truck also doesn't
Doesn't have
go, doesn't have a roof.
Right,
Go
so
underneath.
I propose that we reschedule our cleanup day for the following Saturday. I guess that would be the 27th.
27th.
And we'll meet at Fountain Square at 10 a.m. if that works for you.
Sure.
And we'll spend an hour in, at Fountain Square and then go down to Wassaic and meet at 11 o'clock at the Lantern Inn and see how far we can get in the hamlet of Wassaic.
So that's the 27th.
Yep. And then we have to have everything collected by 12 o'clock, 12:15 to get it to the transfer station, which closes at 1. And they want you there before 1.
In Wingdale.
There were a bunch of folks on the Wassaic and Amenia community page who were interested in helping out. Hope to see you guys there.
Excellent, excellent. So we need to update that Wassaic community page to be the new date. Okay. Thanks for letting me know.
Are there any other town board comments?
I just have this one on the Amenia Historical Society, iron mining and the Copake Iron Works with Jim Mackin, the Friends of Taconic State Park. It's Sunday, April 28th, that's where the 28th comes in, 2019 at 2 p.m. at the Amenia Town Hall. It's very interesting. You should come to see this gentleman. He's very well versed in these subjects. He did walking tours of New York City, and I believe he even did a PBS. If he's the same gentleman I'm thinking of, who did a PBS presentation of a walking tour of New York City, of Manhattan, pointing out all the historical buildings and stuff like that. So he's very well educated and well informed, and you should come on down. It's wonderful to learn about Amenia and the surrounding area for the ironworks and stuff.
I'll mention that on Saturday at 1 o'clock, we're going to be, some of us who are involved in CACs in Dover, Amenia, and Millerton Northeast are going to be meeting here at 1 o'clock on Saturday in this room to go over a proposed art, Harlem Valley-wide art project that allows people to express different ways of their positive response to climate change and energy efficiency. So we're all working together. It's part of the Climate Smart Communities projects that all of us are working on. And it would get us all points for working together with our local communities. And then I also got, and probably you all did as well, a letter from NYSERDA and Cornell Cooperative Extension, and they have a program, basically an outreach program that it's called the Community Energy Engagement Program, which provides support for residents and businesses looking to make their home or workplace safer and more comfortable while reducing energy consumption and saving money on energy costs. And they have invited us to invite their Dutchess County representative, Colin Adkins, to either schedule a program in your community or attend one of your town board meetings or provide you with program materials for distribution. I would suggest that we invite him to attend one of our town meetings and let them be on record on the televised program saying what it is that they're doing. They are trying to help consumers navigate a network of community and local partnerships and work through NYSERDA's clean energy and energy efficient programs. They provide end-to-end customer service to both renters and homeowners, including educating consumers about their energy choices, establishing services with contractors, enabling access to financing options, and accessing additional available resources. So I would invite them to our next meeting if they're available, this Colin Adkins, if you think that would be helpful.
Or my office to do it?
Do you want me to invite them?
You can do it, yeah.
Happy to do that, and I think, does everybody agree attending one of our town board meetings
Yeah.
seems
Oh, I
like
think
the
it's
right
great.
start?
Oh,
Okay.
sure, absolutely.
This is the information. Thank you very much for doing that.
Oh, I just have an update. Remember a while back when I said that JTR gave us coupons that we could use on our trip? So I connected with the lady. She said, yes, definitely can. So when Marge goes to send the check to pay for this bus trip that's going off this Wednesday, that $50 coupon gets attached to it, and we subtract that from the price of the bus trip. Every little bit helps.
Oh, that works.
We like coupons.
But the only thing I wanted to mention was that when I was at Association of Towns, I went to the controller's booth of the Office of Unclaimed Funds, and just for the heck of it, put in town of Amenia, and lo and behold, an amount of $2,745 popped up through, it was some kind of a check or that was returned to Wallkill Bank, who didn't know where it should go, so they turned it into the Office of Unclaimed Funds. So I went on their website and saw who the president and vice president were of the bank in Wallkill, and sent them an email and sent them a copy of the information that I got from the comptroller's office. And they just sent me back today an affidavit, which I had duly notarized by our town clerk, and have sent it. So we should be receiving $2,745
Say
of money
that.
we didn't know we had.
That's it.
So if you ever get a chance to look into Office of Unclaimed Funds, please do it. You might be surprised what you may find.
I was wondering also, just out of curiosity, did we get that fishing access built, the parking lot that we were supposed
No,
to do for DEC?
we're waiting for,
I was going to say, I didn't see any progress on Sin Patch Road. It should be along Sin Patch, right?
right, but we had to wait until the land had actually been transferred to DEC
Right,
from
right.
the DDSO.
Okay, so now that it's transferred, or it hasn't yet?
It hasn't, no.
Oh,
I haven't.
okay.
Last I heard, it hadn't been transferred, but because you're working with government entities, they kind of go at a snail's pace sometimes. But
We are a government entity.
I meant a state government entity, because you are working with the, with the OGS, OPWDD,
Fair enough.
DEC. So I was just thinking today that I need to check with them to see if, because I didn't want to go ahead and do that until the land had been transferred to them.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll check and see if that has happened yet.
All right. I'll just mention my phone number in case anybody has questions about cleanup day, 845-489-7826. And we should have a truck that we can pick up some bigger items to some degree, so you can call me if you have questions, or you have something that you don't think you can fit in your car, or if you need us to come by and pick up some bags that you've collected around your neighborhood. I will have contractor bags here at Fountain Square at 10 o'clock in Amenia and at 11 o'clock in Wassaic. If you want to come by, pick up bags and use them
On the 22nd?
on your own, yeah, in your own neighborhood or wherever you want to go. And so that's, yes, on the 27th of April.
Is there anything else? Jim?
To our Jewish citizens, a very wonderful Passover, and to our Christian citizens, a very happy Easter.
Yes.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you for the...